Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. Welcome to another video for League of Legends. This is going to be the first one where we're taking a look at the new Season 4 preseason with the new patch. I guess it's not that new, it's been out for about 2 weeks now. Over the last week or so, I was really busy. I didn't have a chance to put together any League videos. I've been away visiting family for Thanksgiving, but now that that's over, we got a chance to come back and look at some of the new gameplay. This is going to be a replay taken from a high elo solo queue game. So this is a whole bunch of Diamond 1 and Challenger players. For instance, you'll see players like Wild Turtle, Saint Vicious in this game. Teddy RO has been bouncing around the top of the ladder for ages now. And what we're going to try to do in this video is just look at some of the new items that are out now, talk a little bit about the trinket system, and talk specifically about the use of the new item that has been just everywhere in the new Season 4 preseason, that being the Relic Shield and Targon, whatever Targon's item is called, which is one of the new gold generating items. This is pretty much for the first week or so of Season 4, it's really been the League of Targon. And I'll try to explain in this video why that is and why that item has been so popular. It's actually already been nerfed in a hotfix since it initially came out, but it's still a very, very strong item. But anyway, we'll go through and just talk about some of the new changes in this video and just have a chance to look at some of the gameplay. Now, I will repeat something that I've said before on a couple occasions, and for some reason the game picks up at about the 1 minute mark, as these things often do. As I have said before, for whatever reason, I still cannot use League Replay, the unofficial replay client. It crashes anytime I try to use it, so I really can't use any of my own games or games that people send me. I can only use these high elo solo queue games that get recorded automatically. There's a website that automatically records these high elo solo queue games, and then I can use them for videos, but unfortunately I can't use any of my own stuff right now. And I can't use stuff that people send me either. As you see, Saint end up beating First Blood right there. So anyway, if you're wondering why I'm using these games, that's sort of the reason why. I'd like to use my own games, and I would actually be playing League more if I could record my own games, but unfortunately I can't right now, because every single time I try to use LoL Replay, I get an instant bug splat as soon as the League client tries to launch a game. But anyway, so let's talk about some of the changes. Well, the biggest change in the new patch is the change to the vision and warding system. You'll notice just here on the spectator client that everyone has these trinkets in their inventory. New item spot. I think anyone who's played has seen this already, but for those who haven't, there is a new item slot, a 7th item slot. You can see it on the two sides of the little replay interface down here, and everybody has the choice of starting with one of 3 different trinkets, which are free to pick up. Everybody can grab them for free. And the one that you might notice that every single player in this game has started with the exact same trinket. They have all picked up the vision trinket, the one that gives you a free ward at the start. So anyway, I'll go ahead and highlight this. The warding totem, you can see it places a stealth ward, lasts for 60 seconds on a 120-second cooldown. And literally every single player in the game has chosen to start with this. Now, I'm not at all sure that that's the way to go. It feels as though everyone has pretty much just defaulted to this item. The other choices for the starting trinket, you see a little bit of action right here. Some harass being exchanged on both sides, but nobody is going to end up dying from this. The other choices are, there is the one that allows you to clear wards. It's the like scrying lens or something like that, but basically what it is it's an active and you can reveal any wards in the area for a couple seconds. So basically the second choice allows you to clear wards, allows you to see invisible wards, and then the third one is the one that is basically a mini clairvoyance one. It's the orb or something like that. And that one is absolutely terrible, and no one picks that. It needs to be buffed desperately, and hopefully Riot will do that. I even said when I did my initial patch review that I thought the scrying orb, the one that's blue colored, that one was really bad. And that indeed proved to be the case, and no one is using that one, basically. No, so basically your choices are between the one that gives vision, the vision trinket, and the one that reveals stealth wards. Anyway, we have a gank coming in here, but a nice flash from the Taric player, Trojan Panda, is going to get him out of the thresh up. And now we have Teddy RO, the jungle Fiddlesticks, coming in. And doesn't look like he's going to be able to do all that much here, but we'll keep the focus down here in bottom lane and see what's going on in any case. So, one of the other things I wanted to talk about, obviously I'll mention the trinket system first of all. And let's see, actually it looks like we might have a dive here in bottom lane, so maybe we'll get back to this in a second. Let's just watch what goes on here. Alright, so Fiddlesticks clearly signaling he wants to come in, wants to dive this lane. And he's actually managed to get himself in a little bit of trouble. There's the drain coming out. That drain's going to be interrupted by a Thresh pull, but Thresh is going to go very, very low here, and the burn from that red buff is ticking down to 48 HP, but is not going to fall. And the rest of the teams, red team, still looking around, still wanting to dive Wild Turtle's Lucian here under the tower. So let's just keep an eye on this. Are they going to be able to pull this off? Pushing up the wave, obviously, so they can look to dive this tower. Turtle should probably just get out of here, but he's still trying to last hit under tower. Anyway, he's going to be feared right there, immediately cleanses it, has brought Summoner Cleanse, is going to get exhausted by Tark, still trying to run out of this, going to get silenced, going to get drained, and no! 5 HP, manages to walk out of there. Not even close, baby. Going to walk out of there. But yeah, probably, in all honesty, even though Turtle did make it out of there, he had to burn both summoners. He probably should have just walked away from the tower. I believe he last hit 1 minion in all that, so it was pretty clearly not worth it. Okay, so a little bit about the items. I said I wanted to mention the support items here. There are 3 gold generating items specifically for supports, but you might notice that we only see one of those support items in this game, and that's because one of the 3 is much better than the other 2. And that would be, well, I'll highlight the unupgraded version first. That would be this one, the Relic Shield. So let's go ahead and highlight what this one does. This is one of the 3 starting options, basically. Most supports are choosing to start with one of these gold generating items, along with a ward and a health pot, something along those lines. But Relic Shield gives you 50 health. Well, actually, now Tark has just upgraded it, so let's go ahead and highlight it in Turtle's inventory. Alright, so here we go. Relic Shield, 50 health, 6 health regen per 5, and then the unique passive, the one that's been responsible for causing some of the interesting changes. Spoils of War, basic attacks execute minions below roughly 200 health. Killing a minion heals the nearest ally, and grants them the kill plus 5 gold. And these effects require a nearby champion recharge every 30 seconds, max of 2 charges. So basically, if you last hit a minion when they're low on health, below about 2 to 250 health, then your ally will also get the gold benefit for you as well. So you'll see right now, notice how Thresh has the little ghostly particles surrounding him. So if Thresh last hits a minion, then Lucian will get the gold as well. And Thresh is unfortunately missing these minions, but that's what the execute bonus is designed to entail. Anyway, in comes TF on a gank right there. He's going to need gold card stun, then the Tark stun is going to hit Thresh, but Thresh is actually going to manage to flash his way out of there and then go ahead and hook against, use the hook against Tark. So despite a really nice gank coming out from TF, it's actually not going to turn into a kill. So some very nice play coming out down here in the bottom lane. Anyway, so like I said, the idea behind this item is you last hit and then you share the gold benefit with your ally. So let's keep an eye on this bottom lane and we should see some of this. So like right there, that was a proc and they shared the gold value, and right there going to be shared once again. And again, the gold value is going to be shared. And Thresh has 1 more charge left, and there it is. So if you noticed right there, Thresh and Lucian shared the gold for, I think, about 4 of those minion kills right there. And so both Thresh and Tarek have chosen to pick up this. And they've actually both upgraded it on their first trip back, from the Relic Shield up to the second item, the Targon's Brace. And most people are more familiar with this item. That's why people have been referring to this as League of Targons here. So Targons gives you more health regen per 5. And it still retains that same passive, Spoils of War. Anyway, right here, we'll get back to this right here. We've got a nice Thresh pull coming in, and a Syndra roam down from mid lane. And poor Tarek's just going to get absolutely exploded by that Syndra ultimate. So that was very nicely played in the bottom lane. Anyway, so like I said, same passive, Spoils of War, where you get the execute. But now, the charges, you now can stack up to 4 charges instead of just the default 2 that you get on the Relic Shield. So here, I'll highlight the Relic Shield. Max 2 charges on the Relic Shield. On the Targons, you get max 4 charges. And it shows you how much gold has been pillaged. Now, one thing that's interesting is Wild Turtle has actually picked up a Relic Shield as well. You actually have a Relic Shield not just on both supports, but on the AD as well. And right at when this patch hit, you actually were seeing people just build Targons everywhere. You would see 4 Targons on a team. And some people are actually running duo top lanes, like two ADs and 2 supports, no junglers, just with double Targon shields in every lane. Now, that people have backed away from that because it is a little silly not running a jungler, but it just goes to show how strong the Targon's item is, and pretty much all the supports are using this right now. What it also does is it's shifted the gameplay towards more tanky-ish supports. Tarek, in particular, has become very popular again in the Season 4 patch. That's due to the way that his Shatter works, that it scales off armor. well, not only do you get more, basically you just build lots and lots of armor, and this scales really well. You give your allies more bonus armor, and the active, the one that removes armor, actually scales as well. I'm actually going to try to find a video of a good Taric video and just specifically focus on a Taric game. I'm going to look and see if I can find that to talk about Taric after the rework. But I have not found a really good game for that just yet. But basically, Taric has become a very strong pick once again in this new Season 4 metagame. Okay, so overall, the game is still really close. We've got a bottom lane that's pretty even. The total gold, you can see, is very, very close between the two teams, and it's really anyone's game. One thing that I will mention is a really, actually right here, we'll come back to what I was going to say. Right here, Wild Turtle's going to get ganked, and in comes the Fiddlesticks gank, going to jump in. A really nice play coming out from the Thresh player. Is Thresh going to go down? Oh, Graves just whiffs. The Graves ultimate fired right next to Thresh, did not hit them. They're actually both going to make it out on very, very low health, so that's about the third gank that Lucian and Thresh have managed to dodge down here in the bottom lane, and have done a really nice job at avoiding that. One thing I was going to mention is the red team is very high on crowd control. They have the Fiddlesticks, they have the TF with the gold card stun, they have the Taric stuns. They have a lot of point-and-click stuns on their team. So one thing that's kind of interesting is that Saint, who's playing as the jungler for the other team, for the blue team, has actually picked Olaf, and that's actually a really good pick against this team because of the way his ultimate works. And oh, down to 3 HP, up, minions OP. Red minion's going to pick up that kill. And now let's see if Syndra can manage to run out of this one. Teddy RO's Fiddlestick's actually really low. And right there, flash stun from Taric, but Syndra has also taken cleanse. You don't see cleanse on the mid laner that much, but against a Fiddlesticks Taric team, that's actually a really nice pick. And that flash stun is not going to end up going anywhere because Syndra was able to cleanse that one and make her way out of there. Alrighty, so let's just look again at what items supports are buying. Note that both supports rushed the Targon's Brace, so obviously wanted to get this item. Not gonna rush the upgraded version of this. You can upgrade it to something called Face of the Mountain, which is very good, but it's not all that necessary when in lane. It's more of an item to get a little bit more in the team fighting phase. So rushing the Targon's Brace, and then over here you see that the Thresh player has gone ahead and picked up a Sightstone. So back to sort of the traditional support item there. And in fact, if you look at the Taric player, is actually doing the same thing. Has the Ruby Crystal, and by the way, I do not really like this Ruby Crystal graphic. It looks, I don't know, it looks kind of weird. But has gone ahead and it appears to be building towards the Sightstone as well. So if you want sort of a default build order for the Season 4 supports, get your gold generating income, upgrade it to the second tier, whatever that is, and then go for a Sightstone. That's a pretty good, basically, that's a pretty good default build order for supports. One other thing I'll mention, so how can you tell apart the trinket wards from a normal ward? Well, if you look in the brush right here, see how this ward is glowing yellow? That tells you it's a trinket ward. This one is not, it's a normal ward. So you can visually see which ones are the trinket wards and which ones are not. Again, right here, this is a trinket ward because it's glowing yellow, and the other one, I believe, is just a normal ward. Yeah, the other one's just a normal ward. So if you're curious about how to tell them apart, that's the difference right there. Trinkets upgrade automatically when you hit level 9 in this game, as we continue to watch this gameplay. So let's see, who is level 9? Okay, so Saint's level 9. If you notice that he's at level 9, it is upgraded to a greater totem, excuse me. Places an invisible ward that reveals the surrounding area for 120 seconds on a 120 second cooldown. That's opposed to the default ward. Where's the default ward? Down here. The warding token. So we still got, let's see, highlight, go ahead and highlight. Thresh down here. Warding totem only lasts for 60 seconds. So basically, instead of lasting for 1 minute, it now lasts for 2 minutes. And because the cooldown's 120 seconds, once you hit level 9, you can keep a ward on the map indefinitely. One thing that's done is it actually has made it really hard to get rid of vision. I mean, like, it might sound kind of funny because the idea behind the new Season 4 changes was there wouldn't be as many wards on the map. But in a lot of ways, it's kind of been the opposite because it's actually very hard to remove vision. And by giving everyone the warding by giving everyone the warding trinkets, which pretty much everyone's been picking up, there's actually, in a lot of ways, more wards on the map right now. Now, again, that's probably not going to be the case in competitive play, where the map was always blanketed with wards, but in a lot of ways, there's actually more vision now, not less, because it's actually really difficult to clear vision. Right there, you're going to see, once again, another use of the Targon's proc. Yeah, it's actually really hard to get rid of vision because you can only use pink wards. There's no oracles in the game anymore, so only pink wards and the trinkets that remove vision. Now, maybe we'll see more and more use of the red trinkets, the ones that remove vision, as people get more familiarity with the system. But for right now, in a lot of games, it's actually really hard to get rid of vision because you can only place one pink ward on the map per player, and there's no oracles. This is one reason why Evelynn jungle is actually really, really super duper strong. Okay, so let's take a quick look here at how much gold has been generated by these supports. If I go ahead and highlight Thresh, you can see Thresh has gotten 407 bonus gold from the Targons. Let's see, Lucian is at 256, much less obviously, because he doesn't have the upgraded version. And the Targ player is right around the same, right around 400. So let's take a quick look at that. We're at the 15-minute mark. I'll grab my calculator here. You guys can't see it, but I'll go ahead and pick that up. 15-minute, well, actually we're going to have a fight here. I'll get back to this. So we'll get back to this right there. Fiddlestick's ulting over the wall. Thresh going to put down his ult. It's actually a really nice use of the box, but Fiddlestick's still going to be able to get that kill. In comes the Olaf jungler though, and right there going to pop his ult, so he cannot be disabled. That's going to be one kill. Now chasing after that, you see the glowing bright red as the Berserker runs in. TF ult going to jump in as well underneath the tower. That's going to try to scare them off, but Syndra with a very nice stun right there. And you're going to see Graves pop his barrier. We've got a little bit of a duel coming up down at the bottom. Lucian will fall, and that's going to be a 3-for-2 in the overall larger trade. Good fight, going to end up being a 3-for-2, and Saint runs out on about 30 HP right there. Alrighty, but to get back to my earlier point, we'll keep the focus up in top lane. So in 15 minutes, that is times 60 seconds, that's 900 seconds. Both supports got about 400 gold from that over that time. So that's 2.25 gold per second, or if you put that in gold per 5, that means they're at about 11 gold per 5. From their Targons, and that's actually quite a lot. 11 gold per 5. That's quite good. If you compare that to what you get on the other two gold generating items, the one on the Philosopher's Stone or whatever it's called these days, the Philo Stone is, I believe, it's something like 4 gold per second, roughly, and then you get passive gold when minions get killed. The one on the AP item, the one that's the replacement for the lucky pick, that one is. Not exactly sure what that one is. I think it's like 8 gold per second passively, but it's a little bit lower, and frankly the Targon's item is a heck of a lot more important in terms of what it gives you, because the Philostone item gives you no combat stats whatsoever. It just gives you like mana regen and passive gold generation. So Targon's gives you gold income roughly comparable to the other ones. Roughly speaking, maybe a little bit less, but pretty comparable to the others in terms of gold generation. And it gives you really good combat stats. I mean, it gives you more health and health regen, which is, frankly, a lot more useful than what you get, particularly from the Philostone replacement. The AP one, the one that's the lucky pick replacement, is a little bit better in terms of combat stats because it does give you ability power on sort of a mage support. But the Targon's one is clearly the best right now, is rumored to get nerfed again in the next upcoming patch. So we'll see what happens after that point. But for right now, in 3.14, it's pretty clearly the best of the different options. And right there, you saw more of the Targon's procs coming out. Right there, it's going to be a nice pull in from the Thresh, and then the box is going to come out. But right there, you're going to see the combination of the Graves ultimate and the Taric ultimate. Taric removing the armor from Lucian right there, knocking him down to basically no armor so that he can be finished off by Graves. Anyway, stun going to come out, but here comes that wild Berserker Olaf again. Does he have his ult back up again? Yes, does. And it's going to finish off Taric with that Reckless Swing. Or was it Reckless Swing, Reckless Strike, Reckless Swing. And it's actually very satisfying to get a kill that way. So overall, a 1-for-1 on a nice jungle play. And there was, in fact, a play in mid as well. We still got more action going on in mid. Syndra going to get feared right there. Mocking Shout, going to flash over the wall to dodge this Tryndamere spinning slash. And overall, the game a little bit in favor of the blue team, but still fairly close in this one overall. And let's see, keep an eye on this mid lane. Seems like that's where the action's going on right now. One other thing I guess I'll mention since we're looking at Syndra. Syndra, very, very popular right now in terms of mid laners. Still has that very high skill cap to play, but is very popular, is being used in competitive play. Basically what happened is Syndra was very weak against assassins, and all the big assassins ended up getting nerfed in mid lane. Except for Kassadin, but he's perma-banned in every game, of course. If you think of the big assassins, Zed got nerfed, Ahri got nerfed, Fizz got nerfed. So basically, all the big counters to Syndra got nerfed, and that means that she's really strong. Alright, we have a little bit of a duel down here in the bottom lane, but they're going to end up backing off out of this one, or maybe not, still continuing. Keep an eye on this. So right there, Ghost going to be popped on Olaf, and is he going to be able to hit the Axe Toss? Yes, he is. Now going to run under the tower, and is going to pop his ultimate, so he cannot be disabled by that Taric stun. Now still continuing to chase after Taric, and he's going to try to run away as long as possible, but I don't think this is going to work. There we go, get that. And the Thresh Lantern going to pull Lucian to safety, but unfortunately for Olaf, his ultimate has run out, and he's going to be taken down under the tower. And yes, this is Pax TF, rarest skin in the game. Don't see Pax TF very, very often here. So overall, that is what, a 2-for-1 in favor of blue team. They've got a little bit of a lead here, but still not by that much. Still a pretty competitive game on the whole right here. Alright, one thing that I'll mention, Fiddlestick's going to go in for the drain, and looks like he's going to be okay. Alright, one other thing that we should mention is Taric has actually changed his trinket. If you notice, he has now picked up the Greater Lens. This is the one that reveals and disables nearby invisible traps, devices, and wards for 6 seconds. And it's on a 90-second cooldown, so it's actually changed his trinket in the course of the game. Started off with the warding one for extra vision, and now has swapped over to the pink one, to the red one, to the lens, in order to be able to sweep out wards. And that actually is something that you can do. It just, you can't use your trinket for like 90 seconds, but you can change them out for free. And I could definitely see that happening, particularly on supports. I do think we'll see more and more use of the red one. The red trinket, the lens trinket, I think we'll see more and more use of this as people get used to the new Season 4 items. But for now, everyone's just using the yellow one and just basically making use of the free wards. I also think we'll see more use of pink wards as time passes. But for right now, we're not seeing too much use of the pinks either. Alright, up here in this top lane, Nasus has, well, been getting stronger and stronger. And in fact, Nasus is actually a very strong pick right now in Season 4 as well, largely due to the way that the defensive tree masteries work. He's able to regen health pretty much forever. And how many Siphoning Strictures? Has 375 bonus damage already. It's just been free farming this top lane. Tryndamere is gotten pretty strong as well, but you know, Nasus scales just as well as Tryndamere into the late game. One of the things that has been happening in these Season 4 games is they've typically been going towards late game. It's actually kind of hard to stop people from going to late game, and so a lot of the champions that are more geared towards late game, well, okay, let me back up and explain. So basically, champions just get more income now due to the way that they changed how the assist system works. Everybody gets more income, like supports in particular get a lot more gold, but basically everyone gets more gold. So really early game champions are not as popular because you're hitting late game builds in lots and lots of games. So if you're gonna get enough gold to reach late game builds, you know, you might as well pick some late game champions. By the way, that was almost a really awesome play by Thresh. Tossed out the lantern and then flash grabbed, but unfortunately he did miss the pull. Did miss his death sentence, so didn't end up working. Alright, now right here, there's kind of a slick play right there. That is a pink ward going down to guarantee that red team has no vision in that brush, and that's going to allow Syndra to set up this gank, and Taric is going to take a lot of damage. So Taric is pretty tanky, and Fiddlesticks is there as well. TF is going to jump in, and that's actually going to end up being, what is this, a 1-for-1 so far. Are they going to be able to finish off Thresh? He is just out of range of that buckshot. A flash wild card from TF, but Thresh is going to dodge that, and then another flash from Taric. That is going to pick up the kill. Now is Taric going to go down? He's going to heal himself right there. Oh, he's going to turn, and oh, the red buff is going to finish him off. We've now got a teleport coming in from Nasus. Nasus, let's see, has he popped his ghost? Yep, is running ghost, and I'm sorry, Graves, but there is no way you're going to make it out of this, and there's an angry dog chasing after you, so nice doggy. Gonna pick up that kill, and I do like the Nasus. I have to say the Nasus visual rework looks pretty darn cool. So that is the new Nasus. If you haven't seen it since the rework in this patch, looks pretty neat. And right here, Olaf gonna run in and try to ghost after TF, but he's gonna miss the axe throw, gonna miss the undertow. So don't know how successful this is gonna be, but we'll keep an eye on this. And yeah, that was maybe a little bit too much, but Saints gonna run out of there on 17 HP. Not even close, baby. Alrighty, so let's look at the bigger game. Right now, red team has fallen a little bit behind in, oh, Teddy, that's not where you want it to be. Red team has fallen a bit behind. They're about 5k gold behind right now in this one. And it's starting to snowball in the favor of the blue team off of this. I'm going to highlight Thresh again because he has now upgraded the Targons to its completed form. This costs, I think, it builds out of a ruby crystal, and then it costs a couple hundred gold to upgrade this. But it's still a very cheap item overall. I believe this only costs 2,000 gold total. So if you look at Face of the Mountain, 375 health, 10% cooldown reduction, 25 health per 5, and you still have the unique passive that allows you to execute minions and give gold to the nearest champion. Oh, and by the way, that passive only works on minions. It does not work on neutral camp monsters. So it does not work on neutral camp monsters. Also gives you an interesting active. Consumes 20% of your current health to shield a nearby ally for 20% of your current health for 4 seconds. Then after 4 seconds, target explodes, dealing magic damage in an area. So basically, it gives you the chance to put a shield on a nearby ally with the unique active. This is a really good item. Not even because of the active. The active's okay. The active's not great, but just the stats are really good. 375 health, 10% cooldown reduction, and the 25 health regen per 5 is also really good. So Face of the Mountain is an amazing item. And it's another reason why Targon's is so popular, because Face of the Mountain is just an outstanding item. Let's keep an eye on this gank coming in. TF's going to jump in and get that kill with, with his gold card stun, but got, again, the Angry Berserker chasing after him. And is he going to go down? Red buff burning. Actually, Spirit Fire going to pick up that one. Nasus going to kill steal that one and take it. So, again, you see the advantage of Olaf against a team that's very heavily based on crowd control. And, in fact, that's been working pretty well. Okay, so Jungler is dead. Fiddlesticks was just killed off screen. So, right now, blue team is going to go ahead and use this opportunity to go for the Baron. There's no smite on the other team. No vision in the Baron pit. Now, what blue team really should do is they should clear out vision here. They should have a pink for the Baron. They don't have a pink. But they're going to go ahead and get this anyway. And Saint does hit his smite. Yeah, Saint does have no trouble. Of course, there's no jungler there to smite steal it. But Turtle's going to get 1 kill. And now we're going to see the barrier come out on Graves, but that's still going to be a 2nd kill. And now there's an angry Nasus chasing after you. And I'm sorry, Tarek. You're pretty fabulous, but I don't think you're going to manage to get out of this one. You see a good use of the culling, by the way. That's the way the culling is meant to be used, the Lucian ultimate. Using it for bonus range. Actually does have great range. It is a 1400 range ultimate. Again, it's not really used for damage, but it's used for kiting and for hitting people at extreme range. It's actually a pretty useful ultimate, but when Lucian first came out, people didn't really use it properly, and by now people have kind of gotten used to it. So that particular play has now snowballed the blue team really, really far ahead, and they've really broken this game wide open off of that Baron play, because they got, what, 3 kills and Baron, and they got another tower mid, and at this point, red team is increasingly falling behind, and this is, Turtle's just going to say, see ya guys, and teleports out of there, leaving Thresh behind. Nasus is going to run out. Thresh is going to flash over the wall, but unfortunately, Flash does not pop projectiles. It has not done so in a very long time. It was one point where it did that. So he's going to fall. Down in bottom lane, Saint is going to solo Teddy Arrow's jungle Fiddlesticks. And that's going to be, a 1-for-1 on opposite ends of the map. But at this point, it's still really blue team in the driver's seat. It's up to them to decide where to go and what to do. In terms of support items, let's just look at what items the supports have here. Again, supports get way more gold in this patch. So look at Tarek. He is still sitting on the Targon Sprays. I think maybe should have upgraded that to Face of the Mountain just because I think it's a really good item. Instead is going for a Frozen Heart, actually. So again, I mentioned that Tarek scales off of armor. He also scales a little bit off of max mana. So it's a really good item to pick up on Tarek. Frozen Heart is now one of his core items. And let's just check out the armor scaling on his W right here. So let's see. Passive gives nearby enemies 30 plus 23, so nearby allies get 53 armor. That's pretty amazing. And then when he uses Shatter, he reduces armor by 30 plus 20. So he reduces armor by 50 when he uses the active. And again, you can see how good this is with the armor scaling. Anyway, Teddy Arrow is going to go down. And again, Olaf, once again, using his ult to get away from crowd control. Anyway, right now the entire team is focusing on Turtle, but he is going to run out of this one. Saint is low, but he is going to manage to survive this as well. And now Nasus is running in there. He has popped his ult. He is really strong. Syndra's going to pick up that kill, but Nasus is still there. Oh my god, that Siphoning Strike just dealing so much damage. Wither, another Siphoning Strike. That's an ace. And oh my god, that damage from Nasus. He just has a Frozen Heart and a Trinity, but that and together, those two alone are enough to just wreck Face in this game. 483 damage from his Siphoning Strike. Has farmed up really, really well, and is about to pick up a Last Whisper. So this is actually not the tankiest of Nasus builds, but watch how much damage his Siphoning Strike does when he actually pulls it out here. So yeah, not the tankiest of Nasi, but oh my god, he is outputting some ridiculous damage. And then I'll just highlight the Thresh items briefly here as well. Notice that Thresh has gone for a Randuin's Omen, also a really nice item. And Thresh just has a ton of armor, 200 armor right here. Has picked up the Ninja Tabi boots as well. Now we're going to pull Graves, and oh, Graves is going to be saved by the fountain exploding right as the game ends. But there you go. So a relatively short game, just 28 minutes there, but long enough to see a lot of the item changes. and a lot of the new items and stuff in this patch. Yeah, actually, I should mention that right at the end of the game, the Thresh player also swapped over to the Greater Lens. So I don't know if this is something that people are doing, but in any case, enough to give you a taste of what the Season 4 items and the rework looks like. So this week, I'll see if I can find some more videos from these high elo solo queue games. I'd like to highlight some of the new support champions and some of the new stuff that people are doing. Like, as I said, I'd like to try to find a Taric video. I might like to see if I can find a Leona video, and maybe a game with one of the AP mages. Maybe if I can find a good support Annie video, because I don't know if I've ever done a game just with support Annie. But I'll see what I can find and see what I can put up here on the channel. So once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope everybody has a great week, and I hope everybody who celebrates it had a nice Thanksgiving. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.